Hello, everybody. I am so grateful to be here. So, a few of my friends have asked me to come on and just share my story with everyone and who I am, how did I get here, how did I end up in this journey. So, I thought I would come on and share that with you. So, my name is Sheri. I grew up very close to Toronto, Ontario. I had two parents. My dad ended up leaving when I was very young. Didn't really support that idea of having children until he married his second wife. And as I walked through my journey throughout most of my life, my mom was ill. She had cancer and she ended up passing away when I was very, very young. I experienced a lot of traumatic events in my life, but her passing over kind of like numbed everything down for me. I hid a lot of my emotions. I didn't want to share my life with anybody. I felt, as I moved forward through my journey and the traumas that I had, I felt used, abused. Just nothing made sense in my life. As I grew up, I realized that I needed to look after myself. And for me, that meant, moving out on my own when I was 16, sharing who I was with certain people and then keeping things to myself the rest of the time. As I stepped forward into motherhood, I realized that the relationship that I was in wasn't serving my highest and best good, especially after my daughter was born. I realized then that I needed a change, and I was the only one who was going to make that change. So the first thing I did was I moved out of my situation. My guys were kind of shocked that I actually ended my marriage like instantaneously, and that I moved forward with my life. I took my children and I moved into my home. And I was able to start my life. But the first thing that happened is that, CRA came knocking on my door saying, you owe us this now. And I broke. That was my breaking point. I didn't know how I was going to make my mortgage payments, how I was going to feed my children. I didn't even know that I had any of these abilities until a girlfriend of mine actually read for me. And she said, you need to go and take this Reiki stuff. And I'm like, I don't know what Reiki is. It didn't interest me. So I went about my life. I sat down in meditation every day. I started at 5 minutes of meditation every day. And I said to myself, I'm going to get this and I'm going to master it because I don't know what it is. So when I sat down for my first 5 minutes, I went, this is boring. As most of my clients do now, they're like, can't do it. And I was like, this meditation thing's got to have a hack to it. There's got to be something bigger and greater with this meditation. So as I dove into my meditation, I went 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, up to like 6 to 8 hours of meditation at once. When I got to that point, I was able to tell myself that I got to let everything go at that point. And that was the moment I left everything behind, my emotions, how I felt about my mom dying when I was 15 years old, my dad leaving when I was 2. It felt liberating to be able to say to myself, I don't have to take any of this stuff with me. And from that moment forward, I truly was free. My girlfriend asked me again, hey, you going to go take this Reiki stuff? And I'm like, okay, well, what is it first and foremost? She goes, it's energy healing. I'm like, okay. So I'm like, okay, I've done my whole year of meditation. I'm like, line up this, whatever this Reiki is. Called my girlfriend. I'm like, hey, you got a spot for Reiki? She goes, yeah, it's $300. I'm like, no, thanks. So I'm like, universe, give me something as a deal. So a lady had a course. It was $50. I'm like, yeah, I'm in. She had no spots. I said, if I'm supposed to take this and this is where it's aligning, show me that space is mine. She called me the next day and said, we have one spot for you. Someone canceled. So that was me stepping into this whole journey of, me showing myself to the world and who I was. As soon as I stepped into that Reiki class, my life changed. The day before I actually started Reiki, I met 2 guides and a past life self, Lily. And the moment I stepped into that Reiki class and got my attunement was when I met my guide, Kyle. And he helped me see that I was destined for something more, right? I had just finished carpentry school. They're like, yeah, you're going to be a carpenter. And then they're like, no, we're going to throw you this. So any path you take is the right path, right? Whether you go to school for 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, and you choose something else, it's okay. It truly is. What I've learned through that was that things started to show up in my life that I didn't even know or I didn't even realize. There was things that transpired in my life prior to me taking Reiki that I didn't even know until I actually got my attunement and opened things up and actually realized that The universe was with me the whole time. I needed $500 to pay my rent on a brand new apartment for myself, moving to a different city. And I won the draw at New Year's Eve. So when we're not aware that the universe is working with us to help us, we kind of turn an eye to it and go, yeah, okay, I was meant to win that. When that's not always the case. All we're doing is asking and just trusting the universe to deliver what we're asking for. So for me, as I step forward into my journey, I learned Akashic Records. I learned much more, how to dive deeper into that. So like transformation, soul contract removal. Now it's just endless what you can do in there. But even my involvement with Reiki, I went from Reiki 1, Reiki 2, Reiki 3 master teacher into doing a healing group with Source of 27 people. And in that process of doing that, I learned so much about myself. For one, I don't like to be bored at all. My guys are very aware of this now. So I need to be constantly busy. This is the only thing I have ever done in my whole life where I am not completely bored, right? This allows me the freedom to explore different things, to see different things, to create my reality, and to step forward and do my absolute best of who I am. And that shows in everything that I do. The people that have come to me for healing and for readings, and they're like, you're spot on. And how do you do this? I want to learn it. Can you teach me? And they're like, absolutely. So after I did the whole Reiki thing, I was gifted psychic surgery. From that moment forward, that was a game changer. A lot of things come so very easily to me. I don't need to know the right terminology of things. It's just there. And it's like, fix this, heal this, do this. And everything just kind of comes together as a puzzle to show me what I need to do for that person, whether it's mental, emotional, physical, just the same way that I went through my own journey of mental, physical, and emotional. We have to let go of the baggage that we're bringing with us from the past because we don't have to bring it anymore. It's okay to leave that stuff in the past. So for me, as I've evolved in this last 3 years, I know it seems like such a short amount of time. Like there's so much that I have learned from different people, different teachers, but everything that I do is my own. I don't take fully something of somebody else's and create it into one thing. It's how can I spin this so that you'll understand it easier? How can I be that hands-on teacher or mentor or coach where you're seeing every aspect that I saw, but I can see it for you. And then I'm going to help you to see it for yourself. These healing journeys that we go on as healers, teachers, mentors, it's us learning what it's like to go through those things first. I have a lot of life experiences with rape and molestation and the physical abuse, the mental abuse. I know about all of it. I've been there. I've done it. I've had no money to manifest the career that I have now, right? I literally have manifested this. The only thing that really, truly mattered that day when I sat down with Source and says, what do you want me to do? I'm not afraid. And I just gave it all over to him and said, I will do your work. This is what I need. And he has not let me down one day since. Because it was time for me to take a stand with my own life and my children and say, please provide everything that we need to serve you. And I do it every single day. Since the day I said that to him, that's all I have done is I have served him. And I will continue to serve him any way that I can. The nice thing about the stuff that I do now is I can see what you don't. And I can hear what you don't. So that when you feel like you've made a mistake, I'll sit there and go, you didn't. You just got to twist it this way and it'll fit right in. And they start to see it. And then they start to grow with it. And this is the nice thing about stepping into something you know nothing about. I didn't have to sit and ponder somebody telling me that's not right. Do it this way. Right? Because my Reiki teacher did the same thing. You can't do that. You need to be in person. I'm like, Source already told me I could. So I'm going to do it. And it works amazing because I didn't let somebody limit me. Even in some of the courses I've taken recently, it's like, you can only do it this way. Nuh-uh. I will find an easier way. There's teachers I have worked with who make millions and millions and millions of dollars and use black magic to keep you stuck with them. I will never do that. Because I feel like we need to take control of our own self and say, you know what? This is where I take a stand on what I want, and I need the best teacher to show me how to get there. I have students come to me and say, I took Reiki with somebody else. Are you mad? I'm like, no, I don't care. I don't. I teach quantum. I teach Akashic. I can teach you anything you want to know. Light language, light codes. I can teach you auras, right? Things come so easily to me. I learn extremely quick. So if you don't even know anything, I can help you find those answers. I channel, I trans channel. What better way to start ourselves off without limiting ourselves? And that's one thing that I've never done. I haven't limited myself to say I can't do this. I've always said, show me how to get there. And they show me every single time, right? And as I'm watching this live too, all the synchronicities that are showing up on my clock, every time I look at it, it's like just the right timing to let me know that this is exactly what I needed to do for everybody watching. Right? So if you're interested and you're ready to start this journey, you want coaching, I'm here. You want to learn Akashic, I'm here. You want to learn how to change your life, I'm here. I've been it, I've lived it. I've lived it. I grew up in the slums of Toronto. I know what it's like to have no money. I used to wake up with cockroaches every day, count my change to go buy my cereal on Saturday mornings. I know what it's like to have nothing. But if we keep looking at it as though we have nothing, we will never learn to appreciate what we actually had. I might have grown up with cockroaches and buying cereal with counting change, but I'll tell you what, I am amazing at math. My recall on things is like spot on. The fact that I understand that we grew up with nothing, but I had so much love, whether it was shown to me or not, I already knew it was there. When you're a child, everything looks so big from the eyes of a child, but when you become an adult, it's like, wow, that was insignificant. It's all significant. Every moment of your life is significant. So don't dismiss anything. Look at it and say, what do I need to learn from this? And if you need help with that, reach out. I'm here to help. We have to start looking at ourselves as these higher, more intelligent beings than what we give ourselves credit for. And I'm living proof that you can do it. Carpenter, baker, to this. This is amazing. And I want to help whoever needs help. So thank you so much for listening. I'm actually going to be back and we're going to do another live. So thank you so much for listening to my story. I'm grateful and thankful to have you guys here with me. And I hope you guys just have the most blessed day ever.